after we collected the sample, we are going to prep our ReBella 60cc PRP kit. Some of the items you will need will be the collected blood sample, anticoagulant. We just completed a draw for the patient. You will need a 20cc syringe, a 10cc syringe, a spare 10cc syringe just in case you might need it, and at least two 18 by 1.5 inch gauge needles. You will need some water. You'll have to have a counterbalance set up, a digital scale measuring the counterbalance, setting the appropriate weight. Of course, again, the ReBella kits and our pusher to actually help you push up the platelets after you separate from the first spin. So to get started, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach one 18 gauge by 1.5 inch needle to the collected blood sample. So I'm going to take the lower lock top off. I'm just going to pop the needle in. I'm just going to set that down for now. From here, we're going to go ahead and prep our ReBella 60cc kit. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take off the lid, which pops off easily. Take the green rubber cap, which pops off easily. Set it flat on your workstation. We'll go and take a quick seat. So the next step will entail us to put the blood sample into the PRP tube, which from this perspective, first thing I'm going to do is take the needle cover off and put it inside the opening at the top. I'm just going to rest it flat on the top of the table. From here on out, you want to go and slowly put the blood sample back into the actual tube here. That line right there, which is the 60cc line. Go ahead and discard the blood sample. So we're going to go ahead and prep it for the first spin. So before you do so, don't forget to put the rubber cap back on top, properly seal it, put the plastic lid back on top of the concentrating tube. Now, go ahead and take your digital scale. Make sure it's zeroed out first, and go ahead and weigh out the sample. So over here, our sample is 103.2 grams. So from there, you want to go and set it aside. Typically what I like to do for the counterbalance is I like to pre-fill with water just to get started with the actual weighting process. You can do it from empty, but I feel like if you save a couple minutes by pre-filling it, it makes it a lot easier between having to adjust the weights in case you can't zero it out. So again, the weight of this is 103.2. We're going to get this equal to 103.2 grams. So 89.4. So we'll go ahead and get the wire set aside. So you're going to want to use a non-sterile syringe with at least an 18 gauge 1/2 needle attached to it. And I'm just going to go ahead and take out some water. I'm off by 0.2. Close enough. Close enough. So we're okay at about a 0.3 gram allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the additional spin here. So I'm going to put the counterbalance in one bucket. We're going to set the blood sample in a bucket opposite from it. We're going to close the top. And from here on, we're going to adjust our spin parameters. So what you're going to want to do is press the little tool button is what I call it here. Each time you press it, you highlight a specific parameter you're able to set. In this case, I'm going to be pressing it until I highlight the little RPM number over here. And where you press it, 3,200 RPMs. And press a couple more times until you get to the timer right here. Then you have to press it quick. And from here, we have parameters set, 3,200 RPMs, 5 minutes. And to start the centrifuge, all you have to do is press and hold this button right there, which I like to call the play button. At this point, you just have to sit back and wait until the centrifuge completes the spin. Once the cycle is complete, the lid will automatically pop, and of course, this step, it'd be good to actually stand by here just in case, you know, counterbalance weight is off. Make sure it's stable once we go to the next one. So we're over here wrapping up our spin. The way the counter works is the moment time runs out, the RPMs will slowly, gradually decrease instead of doing a sudden stop. In the spin cycle, the centrifuge will automatically open. So next you're going to do is you want to go and plug the counterbalance to that side and observe the blood sample for separation. So what we have here is we have the platelet plasma suspension and we have our buffy layer at the bottom here. So what we're going to want to do now is prep the extraction of the PPP layer and also eventually our PRP towards the end. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and open up the 20cc syringe. We're going to go ahead and take the lid off, set that aside. And we're going to go ahead and prepare screw in tool we're going to have here to actually help us separate the platelet plasma suspension. If you have this fully unscrewed, it's going to be like this, all the way screwed out. The next step is going to want to unscrew the cap at the bottom here, which turns clockwise to the screw. I'm going to put this into the tool here, securely hold the base, and screw in the tube and tighten it. From here, we're going to want to pop the rubber cap off, push this inside, then attach the 20cc syringe. So by putting it into the hole like that, making sure it's stable. Now, the next step is I'm going to use the screw-in tool to push the plasma up, slowly of course. And as I'm doing that, you can see the plasma go up the top here and the syringe slowly fill up. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to extract platelet poor plasma to your left with 6 cc's total. And with that 6 cc's, we're going to use that for our PRP concentrated plasma. So just keep screwing this here and observe the line to see exactly where I'm at. And if the lighting's bad, feel free to take out a light, take a look. So I still have a little bit to go, so I'm going to get the plasma buffy layer to about the 6th line right here at the top. So, alright, so once you have it to 6 cc's left, you're going to go ahead and want to remove the syringe here. So to prevent possible splashback, what you're going to want to do is gently shake it to ensure that if there's any pressure, you're not going to have too much of a spur back. Look. Not much leakage at all, so we're going to set this aside. So that's our PPP. Now what we have here is what we're going to use for our PRP. So I'm going to take a 10 cc syringe and basically repeat the whole process until we get the buffy layer and the concentrated platelets in a separate syringe tool here. And as you can see, as we're actually separating the remainder of the plasma with the platelets and the buffy layer, you can actually see the difference in color between the PPP and our PRP sample. You can Just going to want to keep going. And as you see the shield turn dark, go ahead and stop.